Hey everyone, Rick here. If you're into digital forensics or incident response, listen up. Two tools you'll need in your cyber toolkit are Hayabusa and Timeline Explorer. Hayabusa, it's a lightning fast parser for Windows event logs. It helps you spot suspicious activity using built-in rules just based on MITRE ATT&CK. And think of it as your threat detection sidekick. Then there's Timeline Explorer, which is kind of a slick tool that lets you sort, filter, visualize logs over time, so you actually see how an attack unfolded in the event that your system was compromised. We use them together, and you can cut through all the noise and get straight to the real story behind the breach. Or even if you're not breached, you can utilize it for just, you know, pulling information from periodically from your system to kind of just read these logs to see what possibly just kind of get some insight with inside your environment. So without further ado, let me show you how this works. Okay, so to begin with the live action on our tools, today we'll open PowerShell with the administrator or as the administrator. So once opened, we'll change to the tools directory. So let's go to tools. We're in the tools directory. As we open the directory, we see our tools. So directory, we see our tools. We've got Hayabusa, Timeline Explorer, plus a couple. We recommend that, or at least I recommend that whatever tools you keep in your arsenal for your cybersecurity toolkit arsenal, maybe, and one idea is keep them all in one directory. So that way you're not trying to look for different tools at any given time. So, all right, so next we're going to traverse to the Hayabusa directory. All right, so then we open up the directory, and what we're going to look for here is our Hayabusa executable or our application. There it is. Scroll up a little bit. All right, so we're going to go ahead and start Hayabusa. So we do /hayabusa.exe CSV timeline, because that's the format we want it. We want to do a live analysis. So we're going to do a flag, a -L flag, and then we're going to output it or outfile. So a -O flag. And then we'll name this thing, since today is the 25th, we'll name it 06 25 24 results.csv. All right, so now Hayabusa is starting to run. So as it opens, you're going to see a series of questions in the scan wizard. The first question is going to be, what set of detection rules would you like to load? So just kind of explaining these things here through to you. We have 5 different choices. The first one is a core. This here is roughly 1,700 rules in it. As next to that, you see the status, test, and stable, and the levels are high and critical. The second one is Core Plus, which is just shy of 3,000 rules. The status is test and stable, and the levels are medium, high, and critical. Then the next one, number 3, we have Core Plus Plus, which we have over 3,700 rules. The status, this is where the status changes a little bit. So we've got experimental, test, and stable. So with Core and Core Plus, with test and stable, just with Hayabusa and the rules alone, those two there, without the experimental status, it just provides a little bit better results with a lot less false positives. So on this one, we have the experimental, test, and stable, levels medium, high, and critical. Choice number 4, all alert rules, 4,255 rules, the status of any with a level of low plus. And fifth and final choice would be all event and alert rules, over 4,300 rules with any status
in a level of informational or above. All right, so what we're going to do for this demonstration, we're going to come to Core Plus, which is 2927 rules with medium, high, and critical, test stable. We want to try and cut out as many false positives as we can. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter. All right, so the next question is emerging, do we want to include any emerging threat rules? Additional 276. So the default is yes, and we're going to select that. We're going to hit enter. Do we want to include any threat hunting rules? 29 additional rules designed inside the tool. The default is no, but I'm going to go ahead and hit Y for yes. And then the next one, the last one is, do we want to include sysmon rules? It's an additional 2,444 rules. The default is yes. This here is where our team, we really emphasize why it's important to have sysmon, which is located in the sysinternal suite, which is made for Windows. But sysmon, have that deployed on your system, in your environment, because as you can see, look at all these additional rules that are added into this tool set. So once we get to Timeline Explorer, you're going to see the significance behind this. But highly encourage everybody to download sysmon, get that set up on your system. All right, so now we hit yes, or it's on yes. We're going to hit enter and start the scan. All right, so as Hayabusa starts to scan, we're going to see that through our choices, we had 1,442 rules excluded. We've got some admin data here, and then we've also got, as you can see, as this is going through, we've got an elapsed time counter out of 339 event log files that it's going to go through. See up here, it says 339. This gives us our status. We've got a green, as it was going through, we had a green progress bar, and then along with our percentages. Come down, we got some more admin data, the rule authors, some to note. Of these rule authors, we've got OTR, I believe Red Canary's got a few of them in there. There we go. There's Red Canary, OTR. So just some ones of note, and then a bunch of other, since this is open sourced, it is community driven, so you're going to have a bunch of authors in here. All right, so the results summary. All right, so from here we've got a total of 6,618 events. We've got here, we're kind of breaking it down. So now we've got 20 unique detections, none in the critical, which is good. We've got 14 in the high with 5 unique, medium detections, 6,644 with 15 unique. We didn't scan for any low or informational detections. Dates with the most total detections, as you can see here, today's date, 6/25. Mediums are as of 6/23, both of this year. Top 5 computers with most unique detections. It's going to give you that printout there. So if you're running this in your environment, you may have more. If it's running all endpoints throughout your network, you're going to see the top 5 with the most. So, all right, so now we're going to come down to our graph. This is a really good layout of as a breakdown between your critical alerts, your high alerts, your medium alerts, and your low and informational. So here, since we selected on Core, we selected Core Plus on our scan wizard, which meant we were scanning for any critical, high, and medium alerts. So as you can see in this scan, this pulled out our top high alerts and our top medium alerts. Okay, so with our high alerts, based off of this, we've got a renamed Office binary execution. We've got an LSAS dump keyword in the command line, which typically is not good. A potential quackbot, run DLL32 execution. This is all malicious stuff right here. And then and then potentially suspicious PowerShell child processes. So this here did detect something that we're going to have to investigate a little bit further. So off of this graph right here, there's not a whole lot an analyst can do with this. This is just great upfront information, but we want to be able to analyze this. So what we did is when we wrote our first script, while we want to outfile or output our file, we named it 62524 results.csv. It's a 16 meg file. So we've already saved that. It's in the Hayabusa directory. So now we want to examine that. So the next thing we want to do is we want to traverse to our tools directory and then locate the Timeline Explorer. So we're going to go cd dot, and then we're going to go cd Timeline Explorer. And then you're going to see in our directory in Timeline Explorer, come down here, we found our executable, Timeline Explorer.exe. So we're going to dot dash Timeline Explorer.exe, and we're going to execute that. Give that a second to run. So we want to be able to export everything over to Timeline Explorer. So we just went over the Hayabusa tool, how to set that up, how to run the scan, the different types of questions and the different setups you can do inside the scan, and then what the output was initially on our PowerShell screen. So now we've got Timeline Explorer opened up. We'll open this up all the way. All right, so with it up and running, you can import your data. So we're going to click on the File menu. We're going to open. So we name that 62524 results CSV. We're going to select that and open that. Let me bring this back down real quick. Okay, so once you open, this is exactly how it's probably going to look when you open it the first time. I already had something moved into the filter bar here a little bit earlier, but when you open up your Timeline Explorer, you import that data, this is what it's going to look like initially right off the bat. Okay, so this here is all displayed in a tabular format for easy navigation and analysis. So we're going to go into this. So with your data loaded, Timeline Explorer it's a powerful tool that's going to help you make sense of all the data of all 6,658 artifacts or events that took place throughout all of your event logs. So as an analyst, instead of scrolling down all the way through here, that's going to be kind of hard, and you'll be, very tedious, and I would hate for anybody inside a SOC to be able to do that. So, so right here, you can sort all the data by clicking on the column headers. So here's your column headers. We've got our date time group, our timestamp, our computer or series of computers that were scanned, our record IDs, event IDs, our levels. Remember, this thing did find high and medium, and we can sort through this by clicking on a level, and it just resorts everything. So, and then we've got our channel, which is our different types of logs. We got our rule titles, we got details, and then when you go over, we have extra field information. So those are our column headers. And then, so what we do, we also have the filter bar at the top. So here's the filter bar, and I'll show you that here in a second. We'll be able to drag any one of these column headers in there. And then we have a search bar for specific terms. So let's just say, for example, I wanted to find or type in application. I hit enter or hit find on your right side, and it's going to highlight in yellow everything that has the keyword application in it, just like any other query. So we'll X out of that. Okay, so now once we have all our results here, one thing I like to do is, since we know we have two different levels or severity levels, so what we can do is parse this out. So, and you can do this however you want. So after we go through all this, set up however you want to look based off of what type of artifacts you're looking for. So I'm going to take my level, click, and drag it into the filter bar. And as you can see, it really narrows down a whole lot of stuff, but we can even get even more granular here in a minute. So here we've got our two levels, medium and high, with our counts, event counts right next to it. So with our event count, based off of what we saw in PowerShell with the Quackbot and the LSASS, so let me go ahead, I'm going to hit this arrow right here next to level, and I'm going to drop it, so I'm going to open all this up. So right here, this here, we've got Quackbot. So we already know that Quackbot at one point was something very malicious. So we did find something. So the great thing about these two tools with Hayabusa, it was able to extract the event involving Quackbot, and we're able to look at it right here on Timeline Explorer. So under your rule titles, so I can come down here, I can double click on this, just brings up a dialog box telling me, hey, I've got a run DLL 32 execution with Quackbot. But what's even more interesting is I can come over here to the details line under the details column, double click on my command line or in the detail for the details, and here's the command line. This is what was typed in, or this is what was entered in order for that application to be able to run. So, so this is what it would look like on the command line. So be a run DLL32.execute along with the Windows System 32 com services.dll mini dump, and then it's going to be into a temp file in my app data in my local directory temp, and then the LSASS com services with .dmp, a dump file, full dump. Okay, so that is a full dump. So this is exactly what was in the command line. Other great information we can extract from this is in the event that this service is still running, we've got our process ID, we've got our parent process ID, and then we've also got a 256 hash of this event. So where this comes into play as well is if we did have persistence on here and we had something that we found that was still running, especially on a run DLL execution, or maybe something that was located in one of our registries, we could get on PowerShell and run a stop process on exactly the process ID or parent process ID in order to stop that process. So that'd be one piece of mitigation. Or remediation, I should say. So, and containment. So this here, really a lot of good information that comes from your details on that one event. And then since we did open that up and we saw where that was, what I did is I was able to open up on inside that folder, and I scroll down and here we go. We've located that file, that dump file. So it is in there, dump file. It's got 86,033 kilobytes. So there is stuff on there. However, when I go to open it, I go to double click, take that off of always use. Let me see if I can use Notepad to open, and look what I get. You do not have permission to open this file. See the owner or the administrator to obtain possession. So I know for a fact that I'm the administrator of this endpoint, and when this is telling me this, that's going to be quite shocking, because that means it's probably it's under a different ownership, which is not mine. So somebody can actually download this and then be able to extract it out. All right, so since we've already parsed this thing out by level, so now what we can do is we can make a subset as well. So we can take the rule title, pull that up over here, and now we can open these up. And instead of just having, so just like before, we had all these, we only had 14 of these. So let me use the medium since that has a higher count. So instead of going through 6,644 different events, what I can do is move the rule title up here as a subset. And now what we can do is look at all our rule titles to say, hey, look, we've got a rule title, the name of it, and then the number count of that rule title. So if these are this is a standard process, do we need to parse through, 5,900 events? Maybe not. However, stuff that's got, maybe low double digits or even single digits, stuff that we may want to look at because it might be uncommon stuff. So, for example, we've got a suspicious application installed. So I'll click down on that. It's got one. Double click. There's Wireshark. So that was installed on 5/22. So as you can see, this makes life a whole lot easier to analyzing all those logs. You can break it down, just by just kind of triaging through everything. So go ahead, put this back. I'll put the level back. And another one I want to show you too is, and why I was telling you during Hayabusa why it's so important. I'm going to move the channel up here. So these are the different logs that Hayabusa has pulled from. Now remember, I was telling you that our team highly recommends deploying Sysmon in your environment. So out of all these events, if we did not have Sysmon installed, so when we open this up and we go to our level, everything that was caught on a high level was caught with Sysmon. It wasn't caught with any other one of these. So Windows Defender, it didn't catch it, and stuff like that. So this is why it's significant to be able to, we can't harp on it enough. Just add Sysmon to your arsenal. Trust me, you'll be happy you did. Because look at, we've got almost 6,000 more events that it collected just utilizing your Sysmon log. So that's the importance of that. So we already did, okay, so we did all the search in the search bar. Like we said, you can continue to move all of this stuff. You can move it up here in your filter bar. However you guys want to parse it. The possibilities are endless with this thing. This definitely makes life a whole lot easier than just using a standard CSV file and open it up and try to, separate everything, maybe, making pivot tables and stuff like that within, when you move it over to Excel, it's just kind of a pain. But this here breaks everything down, so it's so simple that easy to read and all coordinated. So, all right. So, let me just one disclaimer. So for everyone, these tools can be finicky. So if you do have a robust endpoint detection in your environment, you may or may not get some kind of alerts when you go to install Hayabusa or Timeline Explorer or both. So if that's the case, you may need to change the rules around a little bit, but for the most part, it should work. But just based off of some of the admin reading on this, it has been known to kind of trigger your endpoint stuff. So as maybe maybe an unauthorized install of software or application. So just be aware of that as you go through it. So combining the capabilities of both Hayabusa and Timeline Explorer, it allows for a comprehensive analysis workflow. So use Hayabusa to parse and extract all your meaningful data from event logs, then import all that data into the Timeline Explorer for detailed examination and visualization. This approach not only enhances your ability to detect and investigate incidents, but it also improves your overall understanding of the system's behavior over time. So adding a little caveat to that with time, as you saw that I named this file, 62524.csv, you may want to run this whatever frequency you may want to run this. Maybe it's monthly, maybe it's bi-weekly, whatever it may be. So maybe have a directory somewhere in there in your system to where you have, you can create folders for like whenever your frequency is to run the scan, and drop these in there, so that way you can go back and do a comparison for each month or every 2 weeks or once a quarter, however long you want to run this thing. So that way you can go do a comparative analysis. The only thing I add to that, if you're going to do a comparative analysis, compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. What I mean by that is if you run the same questions, if you run the same options in the scan wizard this month, and it's your first time running it, next month run the same exact setup and then compare the two. If you try to do option 3, option 4, option 5, when you've done option 1 this month, remember your results are not going to be the same. So if you're going to do any type of comparative analysis, make sure your rules are set up in the scan wizard exactly the same way before you do your comparative analysis. So, all right. So finally, Hayabusa and Timeline Explorer, they're powerful tools that when used together, they provide a robust solution for analyzing Windows event logs and timeline data. By integrating these tools into your cybersecurity toolkit, you can significantly improve your incident detection, your response, and your forensic investigation capabilities. We as a team, we encourage you to explore these tools further, see how they can benefit your cybersecurity efforts. These things do have more advanced applications to them, but I just wanted to show you the basics on how you can get started to run this scan in your environment and extract the data and open it up into a very easy readable format. So once again, thanks for watching and happy analyzing.
And that wraps up our walkthrough of Hayabusa and Timeline Explorer. As you've seen, these tools can turn complex Windows event logs into clear, actionable insights, giving you the edge with every second counts in an investigation. Whether you're an incident responder, SOC analyst, or just building out your cyber arsenal, mastering tools like these, they're a game changer. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more cybersecurity tools and techniques. If you have any questions or want to see any other tools in action, please drop a comment below. Thanks for watching and stay vigilant.